Now at 9, the Kansas House takes action on a bill that would ban gender-affirming care for minors. Plus, what Missouri Democrats can expect ahead of next week's presidential primary. And some Southwest Missouri students plant 10,000 seedlings to raise a little green.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Dow Quick. Authorities in St. Louis have arrested 2 more men in connection with an Independence, Kansas homicide. U.S. Marshals and the St. Louis County Police Department arrested 21-year-old Joshua Denton and 18-year-old Kavion Williams, both of St. Louis. Both men face charges of first-degree murder and aggravated robbery. They're the 4th and 5th suspects in the October shooting death of Jason York back in Independence. The other 3 suspects were arrested last month. They are 37-year-old Kevin Quinn, 20-year-old Aquan Quinn, and 23-year-old Kevin Martin, all of St. Louis. They also face charges of first-degree murder and aggravated robbery. McDonald County authorities say they were close to catching the man wanted for a fatal stabbing in Jasper County. Sheriff's deputies responded to a home on Route W outside of Pineville following a tip regarding a stolen generator. When they got there, they were told Scott Burleson had fled the home shortly before they arrived. Burleson is wanted for the March 2nd stabbing death of Scott Langford. Witnesses say they saw him on foot at the Route W and East State Highway 76 junction wearing a red shirt and blue jeans. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, we're about average for this time of year. We saw some rain for the last couple of days, but it's pretty clear for the next several days. Not until Wednesday will we be seeing any more rain. Temperatures across the region are now dipping down to the lower 50s, with our overnight low being about 44 degrees, so pretty chilly night. And we do have some pretty low humidity values in some areas, and that could cause concern for fire weather conditions. So you might want to watch out for that, although we're not too windy in the area, so it shouldn't be too big of a concern. We don't have any rain for the next several days, but we've gotten a lot of rain the last couple of weeks, and it's done a number on our drought tracker. You can see where we had some flooding last week. We're no longer in drought conditions up in the northeast. I have more on what to expect for the next several days up next.
All right, we'll see you soon. Kansas could soon join Missouri and 21 other states in banning gender-reaffirming care. A bill approved by the State House yesterday would ban health care providers from giving minors gender-affirming care that includes surgeries, puberty blockers, and other social transitioning treatments. Also, no state money could be used on this care, and doctors could risk being sued or have their licenses revoked if they still provide it. Election season looks a little different in Missouri this year. KOAM Samantha Walker explains what voters need to know about the upcoming Democratic primary.
3 weeks after the Missouri Republican caucus, Democratic voters in Missouri will have the chance to cast their votes for a presidential nominee. Individual parties were left to host their own process for nominating a candidate after Missouri representatives failed to implement the presidential preference primary voters are used to.
Missouri Democratic Party opted to instead hold a presidential primary like we normally would. We did a mail-in ballot form and we're doing an in-person one. The mail-in ballot time has passed. The in-person is on the 23rd of this month though, March 23rd.
According to the Jasper County Clerk, the Democratic presidential primary will follow a similar process to the typical primary election voters may know.
They have ballots that they printed themselves. You'll be able to vote and then they will count the ballots.
But because this is a party-organized event, voters can expect to see some changes.
But you don't actually have to be in the county or register to vote in. So if you live in like Jasper County and you're just in Newton County for the day, you can go and vote at the Newton County Courthouse, which is where their primary is being held, because it's party ran.
To participate, you have to be a registered Missouri voter, not be a registered Republican, and have a form of an ID. Organizers say it is important to participate even if you think a nominee is already certain.
It just looks good on a national scale to see a bunch of people turning out. It makes Missouri a little more relevant.
Reporting in Jasper County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
You can find more information about this year's election season on our website, koimnewsnow.com/elections. 120 schools and about 1,000 students and advisors have gathered in Carthage at the high school for this year's Missouri Student Council Conference. The convention features nationally recognized speakers, a vendor fair, and a service project where participants created the blankets for Children's Mercy KC and journals for Children's Haven.
I want them to make memories. I want them to be my age and to remember that we did this. I want the students from the other schools to go home, and again, when they're my age, I want them to remember coming to Student Council State, even if it's not at my high school that we hosted it at.
This marks only the second time Carthage has hosted this event. The only other time, that was way back in 1977. Pittsburgh Community Theater's production of Biloxi Blues is set to hit the stage at Memorial Auditorium in 1 week. The show was written by Neil Simon, premiered on Broadway way back in the 1980s. It follows a group of young soldiers making their way through basic training during World War II. Biloxi Blues is a comedy, but according to director Faith Paoni, it also tackles hard-hitting issues that are still relevant today.
It's still a play that is appropriate for our times. Absolutely. And it hits on a lot of subjects, a lot of things that we're still dealing with.
These men were really entering into a time in their lives of fear, and anger was all over the world. And he deals with that, and he shows you how they overcame their fear and rise to the level of bravery that they needed to have to go into war.
Biloxi Blues opens March 22nd, runs through March 24th. You can find ticket information at koimnewsnow.com. Also catch KOIM News on Sunday for an in-depth look behind the scenes with KOIM's Anthony Saviello. Anthony is one of the performers in Biloxi Blues. Coming up, why health officials are concerned about a rise in the number of teens using products containing Delta-8 THC. It's a cannabis compound that's sometimes referred to as THC light. But a new study is sounding an alarm on the rise in the number of teens using products which contain Delta-8 THC. Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and explains why researchers call this a potential public health concern.
It's a new psychoactive substance, sometimes marketed as a legal alternative to weed, and researchers say more teens are using the cannabis compound known as Delta-8 THC.
It could impact proper development of the brain and a whole host of other types of consequences.
Adam Leventhal is author of a study published in JAMA that relied on school survey data from 12th graders.
We were really surprised to see 11%, so more than 1 in 10 teens in America were using these products at least once in the past year. And a good portion of them were not just experimenting.
The drug comes in many forms that may appeal to teens, like gummies and vaping cartridges. Leventhal says, unlike weed, there are no age restrictions for buying Delta-8 in most states where the product is legal, and he says it's not regulated either.
So we don't know if these products have impurities and potential toxic byproducts, and we don't know even what's in them.
Scientists don't fully understand what effects Delta-8 may have on teens. There are no large medical studies to show exactly how it affects the body, especially one still developing.
We know that the market for addictive substances moves much more quickly than sometimes we do in public health and research. And we've already seen a teen epidemic of e-cigarette use. We don't want to see the same thing play out with these hemp-derived cannabis products.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, it's a rivalry game in Pittsburgh as the Gorillas square off against Missouri Southern on the baseball diamond, with each team boasting 7-game win streaks.
Well, we did have some severe weather the last couple of days, but we're not going to see any rain until Wednesday. It's going to be pretty nice outside. Taking a look at our Cornell complex, you can see winds are blowing, but it is a pretty clear night. Temperature is getting down to about 43, 44 in the area. We may see some clouds, but for the most part, it's going to be clear tomorrow. Some more clouds roll in on Sunday, but we don't have any rain until next Wednesday, and that's going to be pretty late Wednesday. And that's due to this low. It's cut off from the upper flow, and it's just sitting over there in Southern California and Arizona. It's going to continue that way through Wednesday. That's why we're seeing this kind of lull in the weather, but you can check up here and see in Canada there's a secondary low starting to make its way through New York. So that's still in the upper flow making its way, and then you can see the cutoff low is just going to rotate right over in Arizona, and it's going to keep going like that until it decides to join back in with the overflow of the upper levels. That won't happen until Wednesday. So we're seeing temperatures sticking around in about 50 to 60. They are starting to cool off. We had pretty warm temperatures on Thursday. Today was a bit cooler, and we have a nice northerly breeze, so it's going to bring those temperatures down to feel even a little bit cooler than what they actually are. For tomorrow, it's going to be really nice. Temperatures getting up to about 67, so mid to upper 60s across the region. It's going to be nice and going to continue that streak for the weekend. Sunny skies on Saturday, but Sunday we do get some clouds, a little bit breezier, but it's still going to be about 57 for our high. Now, the low is where you're going to want to be a little bit more cautious, getting down to about 30 degrees for our overnight low on Sunday. So if you're going out for St. Patrick's Day, you may want to dress warm. It's going to be pretty chilly, but it will be a nice St. Patrick's Day weekend if you plan on going out and going to any kind of festivals or anything that's going on in the area. Monday, dropping those temperatures down to about 52, but they'll warm back up, 68 on Tuesday, 65 Wednesday, and then Wednesday night is when we're going to get those rain chances. Just showers to start with. Thursday, we may see some thunderstorm chances, but by Friday and Saturday, mostly just scattered showers. Pretty late on Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, more consistent rain, but a lot of rain chances next week.
Good opportunity, though, in the meantime, to get outside, maybe do some yard work, maybe mow a little bit.
Definitely need to mow with all the rain we've been getting.
You bet. Thanks, Lindsay. Hey, students at Rocky Comfort Elementary in McDonald County, Missouri are working on their green thumbs. Anthony Saviello looks at their efforts to plant thousands of seedlings and raise a little green.
Taking care of one plant is difficult enough for some, but students at Rocky Comfort Elementary are taking care of 10,000.
It's a great day where we can just get everything done at once. We order in 10,000 plants, and it takes a long time to plant 10,000 plants, but if we gear up for just one day, then everybody just works hard and works quick, and they do such an amazing job planting.
It's a lot of work for 8th grader Jama Lynn. There's joy.
I do enjoy it, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
But it can be a challenge, especially working with younger students.
It's kind of a struggle at sometimes because you get those kids that don't like to listen, but after a while it kind of just turns into helping kids understand that it's a lot of fun.
This effort dates back to the beginning of the school year.
We have about 600 hanging baskets. Some of them you'll see like in the background on the floor behind the students. And so we start those in like August, September. And so we get those all done before Christmas. And then after that, we start planting our little seedlings.
And it will come to fruition with an end-of-year plant sale.
I think it's amazing that my students get to see the progress and the fruits of their labor. They start with today we're starting with little tiny plants, and then eventually they'll be able to see them bloom, and then they'll be carrying them to customers' cars on our big sale day.
Reporting in McDonald County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
That plant sale is going to take place on the first weekend of May. Baxter Springs, Kansas residents took some time today to clean up their community in this beautiful weather. Baxter Springs cleaning, you might say. The volunteers spent the afternoon picking up trash along the highway north of town. Officials say it's a great way to get the community involved in the beautification of Baxter Springs.
Well, I am one of the natives of Baxter Springs who have always loved this town. And we remember when it was perfect and beautiful, and we are in a beautification effort again. I'm from a team called All Roads Lead to Baxter Springs.
Bagcraft donated trash bags and gloves for the volunteers to use. Then city workers collected the bags and hauled them off to the dump. Coming up, concerns over privacy before flights.
Facial recognition technology is coming to an airport near you. Fox Business takes a look at the technology with the lead engineer of the machine and talks to legislators about privacy concerns.
Dollar General is the latest retailer to back away from self-checkout registers. The discount chain is removing self-checkout stands in its 300 stores with the highest rates of shoplifting and merchandise losses. In 9,000 stores, some or all self-checkout registers will be converted to regular registers with cashiers. And in about 4,500 stores, self-checkout purchases will be limited to 5 items or fewer. TSA is expanding its facial recognition technology to nearly 30 airports all across our nation. But there are security concerns over the new system storing data without consent. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis is at LaGuardia Airport with more.
We're here at LaGuardia, where the TSA is testing out new facial recognition technology. Some of the travelers here telling us they don't mind, it's fine by them because their face is everywhere already. Others say, hey, it's too much Big Brother. Listen.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Just insert your ID right here for me.
The next time you're at the airport, you might notice that you can get through security with just an ID and a photo. It's part of a TSA pilot project to assess the use of facial recognition technology. Travelers insert their ID into a card reader and look at a camera on a screen. The machine checks to make sure that the image matches the ID to make sure their identification is real.
Better identity security. That informs better security, physical security. So it's good for the passengers, safety of the airplane.
So far, the technology is being tested in around 30 airports across the country and will be coming to 400 over time. Since the debut, the program has come under scrutiny by some elected officials and privacy advocates.
Where are you going with this? How do you know you're getting rid of it before someone is stealing that data as well? Americans are very concerned that this is another step of big government assessing our personal data.
TSA officials tell us that they are not retaining data with the exception of select airports where they are collecting data from volunteers for no longer than 24 months to improve the technology. One thing to clarify, this new technology, well, it won't make it faster getting to your plane. However, its developer says it will make you safer. Back to you.
The Federal Communications Commission is cracking down on cable TV junk fees. The FCC yesterday said cable and satellite companies will now be required to list all-in prices in billing and marketing materials. That also includes any miscellaneous fees like those related to sports programming or local broadcast channels. The federal government wants consumers to know upfront exactly how much they'll pay for services. What's your favorite Easter candy? Up next, we're going to check out the favorite holiday sweets for each of the 4 states. Well, the Easter Bunny is soon going to be making his way to the 4 states and delivering candy and all sorts of good things. So the candystore.com is out with its list of the top Easter candies in each state. Cadbury mini eggs top the overall list and also the list in Arkansas, but the rest of the 4 states, well, they have different favorites. Kansas and Oklahoma, they prefer jelly beans. Missouri likes foil-wrapped chocolate eggs. You can view every state's favorite and vote for yours on our website, KOIMnewsnow.com. No wrong answer exactly, but some are more right than others. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Crews in Tennessee continue the search for a missing University of Missouri student. Plus, as the House's impeachment inquiry of President Biden nears its end, we look at what's next.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOIM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Multiple states and agencies are helping to search for a missing University of Missouri college student who went missing in Nashville. Crews searched a river there looking for Riley Strain. Reporter Kylie Walker has more.
After 22-year-old Riley Strain was asked to leave Luke Bryan's bar on Broadway, we know he went down 3rd Avenue to Church Street, and that's where he took a right, walking all the way down till it turned into Gay Street. However, his last known location was between the bridges off James Robertson Parkway and Woodland Street.
What's going through your head right now?
Disbelief, this bad dream, wake up, be able to hug my son.
Describing it as an emotional roller coaster, Chris Whited tells us his stepson was last seen nearby a homeless encampment.
Right now, there are a couple of the homeless that have confirmed that they either spoke with him, but they know they saw him. So the detectives are kind of working with that.
Whited says detectives are searching through any gaps from surveillance footage.
So we're just trying to find, did he get in a car? Did he fall? Is he with a homeless person that's taking care of him? Did he walk on down around the corner?
On Thursday, MNPD's Urban Search and Rescue rappelled down the embankment near the Woodland Street Bridge and scoured the shoreline of the Cumberland River, with many members of the community joining in on those efforts.
For about 6 hours, we went up and down the river. We walked all the bank. We went 14 miles downstream and then came back up almost to Rock Harbor.
And with his nonprofit American Airboat Rescue, Gary Hanner says he spent the last couple of days with Strain's family. This in search of the missing college student.
We parked the boat along the shore and then just hiked up in and talked to many homeless people and saw, went through their camps and stuff and just trying to find any clues we could.
A jury in Michigan has convicted Ethan Crumley's father of involuntary manslaughter a little more than 2 years after his son murdered 4 students at Oxford High School. It comes just a month after his wife Jennifer was convicted of the same charges. Even though their son carried out the attack, prosecutors argued both parents caused the school shooting by failing to properly store the gun he used. Republicans on the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees are coming to the end of their impeachment inquiry against President Biden. So, what will they decide? Well, Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram takes a look.
The White House says, quote, impeachment is over. A letter from White House counsel Ed Siskel to House Speaker Mike Johnson demands the House quit wasting time on this charade. But the Speaker says, not so fast.
Mr. Speaker, the White House says impeachment is over. Do you agree? Do they get to call the shots on this?
They don't call the shots on it.
When is the investigation going to be complete and what's next?
We haven't addressed that yet. We will in due time.
The question is when. The House lacks the votes to actually impeach the president despite the GOP push.
Does it reach the high crimes, treason, high crimes misdemeanor standard? Everyone will have to make that evaluation.
Yet some conservatives insist on an impeachment vote, even if it fails.
I would love to be able to vote on the impeachment of Joe Biden.
Other Republicans are seeking an exit ramp, but they are on the clock.
If it doesn't happen soon, this place is out in August and October. The legislative calendar is getting very, very lean.
Despite the impeachment tension, the president and speaker sat next to each other at the Capitol for the annual St. Patrick's Day lunch.
No matter how much we debate, no matter how much we disagree, we always have been able to come together as friends of Ireland.
Was that a bit strange?
No, it was all pleasantries today. We didn't talk about policy at the table.
The House could make criminal referrals from its investigation, and there's a big hearing next week with business partners of Hunter Biden. But Hunter will skip. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
A bit later, we're going to learn how scientists are making grains of rice in a lab that contain meat cells.
Well, we are heading into St. Patty's Day weekend, and it's going to be a pretty nice weekend. Temperatures ranging from 50 to 60 degrees. Outside at our Cornell Complex camera, you can see it's pretty clear tonight. Most of the clouds have moved out of here, and we don't see any kind of rain on the forecast until next Wednesday night. So until then, it's going to be just some clouds here and there. Temperatures still around 50, mid-50s to about mid-60s for the next several days, and we can thank this cutoff low for that. It's just going to sit there over in Southern California and Arizona. It's going to keep rotating, and it won't move until it connects back to the upper flow. You can take a look and see how that will look. This is what the atmosphere looks like at the very top of the atmosphere. So we have two lows. This is our cutoff low. It's just going to sit there and it's going to rotate. And then we have our secondary low. This is where the main flow is, and it's going to continue to go propagate through New York, and you can see it's all moving out, but our cutoff low is just going to sit there. That's what it does. It doesn't have anywhere else to go until it connects back to the upper level flow. It won't be moving into our area until Wednesday, so it's got a bit of a delay. That's why we're seeing this long stretch of sunny days. Temperatures are going to cool off. We were at 78 yesterday, but today only up to about 74. Temperatures drop some more. Tomorrow will be pretty nice, up to 67, excuse me. But for the next couple of days after that, we're dropping down. Sunday will be about 57 for our high. It will be mostly sunny, but after that, our low is going to be right around 30, 31 degrees. So if you're out celebrating St. Patrick's Day, you might want to bring a jacket. It will be a chilly night. Winds aren't going to be too fast, but still with temperatures down to about 30 degrees, it'll be pretty cold. Monday, our high is only getting up to about 52, dropping back down to about 36. So we've got a couple days back in the 30s. Tuesday, 68, Wednesday, 65. So we are warming back up, sunny skies, but Wednesday night, we have those shower chances, and then Thursday, we'll have some thunderstorm chances. After that, mostly scattered showers Friday, Saturday, and more consistent rain Sunday and Monday. So we do have quite a bit of rain in the forecast, but the first half of the week is going to look pretty nice and sunny.
You bet, and things are greening up pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up in sports, Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball face off for the first time this season. Plus, Pitt State women's basketball plays in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. John Dales has highlights from that. A lot more. It's coming up next.
Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. Pitt State women's basketball, fresh off an MIAA tournament championship, plays in the NCAA tournament tonight. In the Central region, it's the first round of the NCAA D2 tournament, Pitt State against Harding. Opening quarter, Corinna Gerber goes to work right away. Nice little hook shot here. We'd hear more from her next possession. Gerber, again, going up strong down in the post. But Pitt State trailing early on, down by 4. Now defensively, the Gorillas have a tough time stopping Sage Hawley. She uses her length to grab the ball, get the easy bucket. Then it's Hawley again. Turnaround jumper for 2 is good, but Pitt State found some rhythm in the second quarter. Macy Mays continues to play well. She gets to the rim and finishes at the basket. Later on, Grace Pyle, her turn to show off the range. She drains a three-pointer. Then look at this, Pyle throwing her defender on skates and buries the 3. But Harding erases a 9-point deficit in the fourth quarter. It's a game-tying 3 with 7 seconds left, and Pitt State ends up losing in overtime, 82-74. Now over at the JUCO level, NEO men's basketball plays in the regional semis tonight against Murray State. Golden Horsemen in front by 13, just under 8 minutes remaining. Now Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State baseball both have hit the ground running to begin 2024. Each of them enter today with a 7-game winning streak. This afternoon, the MIAA rivals meet up in Pittsburgh. Pitt State baseball at home, opening a 3-game set against number 9, Missouri Southern. Pitchers duel early on. Gorilla starter Tanner Leslie strikes out Will Doherty, then he gets Wyatt Morgan in the second. Now to the third, Drew Davis goes down looking, but Lions starter Cole Gaiman just as locked in. Blake Mosley caught looking. Cade Clemens goes down swinging. Then Gaiman freezes Dagan Brady in the third. The fourth is where this one breaks open. 2 runners on. Ethan Clark singles up the middle. That puts the Lions on the board. Next, later in the inning, Nate Miskowski singles to left. It's 2-0 Lions. Still top 4. Chayton Beck singles into right center. Miskowski comes in to score. It's 4-0 Southern. Add insult to injury here. Drew Townsend bounces one to first. Ball gets away. He slides in safely and another run scores. 5-run fourth inning is the difference maker. Lions take down Pitt State 6-1. It's their 8th win in a row. Over to college softball. After splitting a doubleheader with Augustana yesterday, Missouri Southern goes 1-1 again today. The Lions beat St. Cloud State 3-1 in their first game. Then after holding a 4-0 lead against number 22, Concordia St. Paul, they dropped that one in extras. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh State softball also with a doubleheader at home in that MIAA and SIC crossover. 13th ranked Gorillas win game 1 in extras over Winona State. Now to game 2, Winona State starts strong once again in this one. Early in the contest, Carly Engelhart connects, sends it to left center. The diving attempt doesn't work. Gorillas down 2-0. Pitt State trying to respond. Heather Arnett lays down the bunt, called out on a bang-bang play. A little bit of revenge though, because Hannah Burnett later fires from short, gets the call this time. And Winona State pitcher Abby Smith continues to frustrate the Gorillas in the second. She snags the comebacker, tosses on to first calmly. PSU falls behind 3-0 in the second after this fielding error here. Ball gets away, but as we go ahead into the fourth inning, that's when Caden Trochim sends this one over the center fielder's head. Run's gonna come in to score. We're gonna tie this one up at 4. Gorillas walk this one off as well in the 8th. They take it 6-5. It's their 16th consecutive win. Back to basketball though, that's a heartbreaker for Pitt State women's basketball, losing that one obviously.
Yes, it is. It's always tough any time, I suppose, when you get into tournament time especially. So, right? But hey, a lot of basketball coming up in the coming couple of weeks.
Have the men's game tomorrow too.
Yeah, looking forward to that. We'll be right back. With greenhouse gas emissions contributing to the climate crisis, scientists are pressing onward with revolutionary concepts to reduce the carbon footprint of the food industry. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten has more.
While it may look pretty, there's more to this pink rice than meets the eye. That's because these grains actually contain real meat cells. And researchers hope the unique dish will serve as a climate-friendly, protein-rich food source in the near future.
The rice grains you see now have a uniform distribution of both muscle and fat cells.
Using special enzymes, scientists in South Korea are infusing lab-grown beef cells inside pieces of rice.
It contains roughly 8% more protein and 7% more fat compared to regular rice.
Besides bolstering the health benefits of rice, teams believe this technique will also help combat the ongoing climate crisis. Especially when cows are the #1 agricultural source of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the University of California, Davis. Scientists cite the high concentration of methane cows produce when they burp, which is more toxic for the atmosphere than carbon dioxide, and because raising livestock also requires a lot of land and resources. Crews hope the beef rice will lead to fewer cows being raised in the future.
I don't think it can replicate the juiciness or texture of real beef.
And while not everyone is sold on the concept just yet, some potential customers are warming up to the idea because of the rice's sustainability claims.
Keep up the standard of life, but at the same time, protect our environment.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at what the future holds for superheroes at the box office. The topic of whether audiences have superhero fatigue has come up when comic book movies don't bank big. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin looks at how superheroes are faring at the box office and a big summer movie which might save the day.
Let's try that again. Superhero movies aren't always so super-powered at the box office, with Madam Web as a recent example. But some comic book fare did fare well with fans this past year.
What we're seeing now is that the comic book movie isn't just a guaranteed hit. Audiences are looking for something fresh, for something new. They're also looking for sort of those tried and true franchises that they believe in. Two of the more popular movies of 2023 from the MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and then especially Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Audiences are also listening. They're listening to critics more. They're listening to Rotten Tomatoes more. They're listening to their friends and families more.
That word of mouth could also be a match for superhero fatigue.
Bob Iger was just asked about superhero fatigue. And I completely agree 100% with what he said. He said, fatigue doesn't exist. You know, people will go see good movies.
Is there hope on the horizon for superhero movies at the box office with Deadpool and Wolverine?
Without a doubt, you know, this was voted our most anticipated film of the entire year at Fandango. What Deadpool and Wolverine is doing is something that the entire superhero industry sort of needs, right? And that audiences want. It's something different.
Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever.
This is going to be Marvel Studios' first R-rated film. It's going to be the first film that teams up Deadpool and Wolverine, especially with that prime late July release time. I do think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be likely one of the biggest films of the year and one of the biggest success stories for Marvel Studios.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with a video of a baby giraffe at the Chester Zoo in England. Let's make it a great weekend.